Welcome to Beyond the Awards, a podcast from the British Wedding Film Festival. This is where we have honest conversations with filmmakers shaping wedding cinema, nominees, winners, and industry voices. I'm Joss.
And I'm Jeff, and as co-founders with Laura and Pete of the British Wedding Film Festival, we're excited to bring these conversations to you.
For this episode of Beyond the Awards, we're joined by Drew from JST Married Wedding Films, winner of Best Elopement at this year's British Wedding Film Festival.
Based in Scotland, Drew has been filming weddings for over 10 years, creating modern, story-driven films for couples across the UK and beyond, with a particular focus on intimate celebrations and elopements.
Today, we're exploring how his voice has developed over the past decade, what draws him to smaller scale weddings, and what success looks like beyond recognition. Drew, welcome.
Congratulations on your win. Very well deserved. How exciting was it on the night?
Thanks very much. It was amazing. So thanks for having me on. It's all pretty exciting. I can't believe I won, to be honest. The night was really cool. It was very exciting. I mean, what a venue that was you guys chose for the art museum. That was really cool.
That was you, Joss, wasn't it?
It was a collective.
Oh,
decision.
He's always like this. Every time he does something cool, we go, "No, we all did it, guys. We all did."
It was amazing. It was a great setting, and as soon as you walked in, you were there, and it just sort of hit you, and you could hear everyone upstairs. So it was very cool getting there, and you're surrounded by this artwork. Yeah, it was great. It was a cool place to be.
And Drew, obviously, it's been like just over a month now since the festival. How do you feel about winning Best Elopement? Has that sunk in yet?
No, not really. I mean, even on the night, it didn't sink in because we were just sort of, what I liked about it, you were just watching the screens, and it came up with the nominees are, and I was like, there's no way, because I was nominated, and then it was like Zaid, and yeah, like Philip London as well, who both I follow. And I've been looking at Zaid's stuff for years. I've always been blown away with it, and especially his New York elopement. And then to win that category, I was like, there's no chance. So it was incredible to get the win, and to give a bit of inspiration to push on for this year. And but no, it's not sunken at all, to be honest. I can't believe
it just shows you, though, doesn't it? That there's always a chance. And as creatives, we're all kind of like very critical of our own work. I mean, probably me more than most. It takes about a year or two before I can actually watch something back and just go, yeah, it's all right. But I think that's the beauty of awards like this, because you probably didn't realise how good you were until you were like sort of walking up to the stage and collecting your award.
It's a bit emotional because you try really hard in this industry to always push it and do better and achieve more out of your work. And it was really nice getting recognition for that. So you're always bearing that in mind of you feel like you've kind of made it in a way, which sounds silly because I've been doing it for so long. It was like, I suppose it's always been a goal of mine to try and prove to myself that hopefully I know what I'm doing.
You do. We can confirm. We can confirm you do. Have you had any feedback what's been the feedback from like friends, family, peers? Yeah, what's been the feedback generally?
Yeah, it's been great, actually. Everyone's been like very welcoming with it and say, oh, well deserved, and very positive vibes about it. And it was nice because I was telling them about something different, like a new award and something new to go to. And it was just videographers. It wasn't like the other wedding awards that's got a bunch of different categories for different vendors. So it was great to be a part of something where you could talk shop to anyone, and you could just have a talk about experiences, what goes wrong on a wedding day, what goes right. But it was nice just to have everyone say, well done, that's well deserved. But
down to the really important stuff. The really important stuff that we almost forgot about, Joss.
Yes, absolutely.
Have you prepared your 2 truths and a lie for us?
Yeah, actually. So are you ready for them? Do you want me just to while away?
Spill.
Go for it. Hit us.
Okay, so 2 truths and a lie. So let's just start with the basic one. So my favourite coffee is a mocha. I used to work in a bank, and I used to work with Calvin Harris in a supermarket.
I love that. I'm trying to just decipher, just from looking at your face, Drew, which is the lie or not. Okay. So your favorite coffee is mocha. You used to work in a bank, and what was the Calvin Harris one?
I used to work with Calvin Harris in a supermarket.
You used to work in a supermarket. Okay.
I hope that's one of the truths.
Hang on, Jeff. I've got Calvin Harris on speed dial. I can call him now. Confirm. All right. Well, Drew, we'll go through those. We'll get your answers at the end of the podcast. Okay.
I'm just going on his.
But thanks.
I'll just quickly go on his About Me page on his website just to see if he mentions a bank anywhere or a supermarket.
We'll try and guess throughout, actually. So in fact, we opened up with the awards, Drew, but one of the things we'd like to do is go way back to the beginning, and you can, if you could take us back to how your journey into wedding filmmaking started, that'd be amazing.
VidFlow helps wedding and event filmmakers deliver their films in a premium Netflix-style experience that feels as cinematic as the work itself. Instead of juggling different platforms, download links, and USB sticks, VidFlow brings everything together into one beautifully branded platform.
And the best part, your couples can watch their films directly on their TV using the dedicated TV app from VidFlow. No HDMI cable, no USB sticks. Just open the app and press play.
If you want your delivery experience to feel just as premium as the films you create, visit VidFlow.
So it wasn't the conventional way with our friends are getting married, I'll film that. I mean, it was all it seems like years ago now. It was back I went self-employed in 2012. So basically on the run up to that, out of uni, had a rubbish job in a farm shop, didn't enjoy it. And I was always doing a bit of photography and video on the side, and it was actually through cycling, my hobby, that got me into it, because my friends had a bike shop and some other like a mountain bike display team, so I would film and photograph for those guys, and then eventually that got recognised by a Scottish tourism firm that said, if you go out to tender and try and win some contracts, hopefully you could do that work. And I did win the contract. I think partly because a lot of people were still using camcorders back in those days. And I was on like a Canon 7D or something like that. But yeah, so I started filming that way. I had like 3 films to do that year, so I had to just like go unemployed and just go for it and quit my job because I wasn't allowed the time off to do it. So I had no money. I literally started from nothing. I still lived with my parents at that point in early 20s. And slowly, so it was basically like promotional Facebook videos back in the day. And that built up to local photographers saying, can you do a wedding? I've got this gig coming up. So I'd go and film a wedding here or there. And I didn't really take weddings seriously until myself and my wife, Tracy, we actually had a cafe in Scotland.
A mocha? Is it a mocha you had, Drew?
I had plenty of cake. No one's eating that today, I'll have that. But yeah, so we had a cafe, and I just thought, you know what, why are we starting this cafe when we can do wedding videos full time? Because we get more inquiries for them, so we thought, you know what, we'll do weddings full time, we'll shut the cafe. And that was in 2016, and that's been it full time since then. So we're always filming, always being a bit corporate-y and doing a bit of weddings on the side, and then it flipped.
I wonder how many people have that, because it kind of struck a chord with me. I started filming because I was into scuba diving, and I just literally wanted to shoot what I was seeing. I know that one of the young chaps from back in my day, whose name escapes me right now, he was into mountain biking. And he just slipped in it that way. How did you start, Joss, by the way? Just going off piste a little bit here.
It pretty much what Drew talked about. Mine was like family and friends, and it was not professional. It was just my sister-in-law getting married, and I just did something like a half. Actually, no, it wasn't half-assed. I tried to do it really good, but
you don't do anything.
I just didn't know what I was doing. Yeah, I just didn't know what I was doing, but that really got me into it. Yeah,
excellent. Thanks, Drew.
And Drew, how long ago was that? Was that 10 years ago?
Yeah, it was, to we went full-time weddings, yeah, so Just Married Wedding Films was born at that point. Because the company used to be called Just Roll Media, and that's why it's JST, because it was just, as in like a text, just Roll Media to Just Married Wedding Films.
Got yeah. And how do you, like, what was your sources of inspiration where you started? Because, like, where do you start in terms of getting inspiration to film a wedding?
Oh, that's a good question. It comes from quite a few sources, actually. But I would say if anyone wanted to get really good at filming, go and film some mountain bike races, because it's so difficult. But for weddings, I think it comes from, I mean, I was thinking about this. When I was growing up, you think about the films that you watch growing up, like it became like 90s for me. And this sounds super cheesy, right? But if you think about elopements and you think for a second about Braveheart, right? This is going out there a bit. Forget the blue face paint and all the murder. But if you think about how that film starts, about the helicopter flying over the mountains, the misty mountains, and then you've got the twinkly, that amazing soundtrack coming in. And then it goes down to the trees and the dialogue comes in and the people, it starts introducing the people in the story. And all of a sudden, you can kind of start to relate to a little bit of an elopement vibe with that. And I think growing up with that 90s cinematography kind of has stuck with me a bit, of that romantic vibe, and even in an adventure film.
Well, it certainly
That's
works
cool.
well in the locations that you're shooting in. Just had a quick look through your films, and you're pretty lucky with some of those hills you've got in the background.
Yeah, they're pretty beautiful. I've got two elopements coming up actually in a few weeks. I'm excited to get back up there and get some misty mountain tops.
Yeah, so whereabouts are you from? Yeah, I think I read that you're from the Borders. So
yes, I'm in the Borders just now, near, I don't know if you know where Bigger is, or Moffat.
Bigger, yeah. Know it well.
Near the motorway.
Yeah. I've got a mate in Peebles.
Oh, perfect. Cycling mecca.
Yeah, it is. You've probably been to his place. Anyway, shameless plug, I won't mention it. It's the Riders Retreat. Used to be Glentress Hotel.
Oh, I've been there a few times, yeah. Good burgers.
Right. Oh, yeah, I'll tell him.
I was just going to say, Drew, how did you end up with the style that you've got now? Like, is that something you got from the very beginning, or has that gradually evolved over time to the point where you've got what you've got now? Like, how do you land with that very intimate style that you've got?
So what we do is after like each wedding season, me and Tracy, we watch through our favorite films and we think what works, what doesn't work. And when occasionally you do go back to one that pings up in your Insta of like, oh, this is like from 5 years ago. And I think your style changes like every couple of years. Changes is the wrong word, develops. Because I think like as a body of work, my style's probably been the same definitely since sort of COVID times. The way the story leads through, and that's like the heart and soul of it. But in terms of like the shots, I think like even the last couple of years, it's been myself filming them, because Tracy, we had obviously our second child, so Tracy's like looking after the kids while I'm out filming. So I've had to adapt to different scenarios and like, how do I film this? So I think different filming techniques then gives you a different end result slightly. So you're always like maneuvering with the times without losing the heart and soul of where you, like the foundations of where you started. So I think like every couple of years you'll start to see a slight a slight thread change in the material.
Oh. Yeah, I find that very interesting. So that was going to be one of my main questions actually, about your current style and how much it has changed recently. So you pretty much preempted one of my questions there.
Yeah, I mean,
so did you say you started? Were you a duo before then, Drew? You were shooting together with Tracy, with your wife, and now you just a solo. Okay. Yeah,
so it was interesting because when I first started doing the corporate stuff, it was just me, and then I met Tracy, and when Just Married was born, we just went, right, we'll both shoot. So it was really interesting from that point of view, because I trained Tracy from the ground up. So if I said to her, you do grim prep, I'll do bride prep, her shots would like my shots in grim prep. So it was like the perfect second shooter environment. And then,
I bet you miss it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll do an edit, and she'll still come through and be like, "That's not good enough. You change that music or change this," and it breaks your heart because you're like getting the goosebump vibes. But no, but that's good as well. But yeah, I think like in terms of style, I always I was talking to my website guy about this the other day actually, because I'm reading my website, and I said to him, I kind of see it. He liked when I said it's like a coffee. It's a blend of ingredients. Because you can't just have one thing. It's a multiple thing. Because you can't just have emotion and you can't just have cinematography. Like you can't, sometimes you'll watch a film and have an amazing drone shot and it'll be like very editorial, but it'll be quite static and there'll be no like emotion driving everything. It was quite jarring. So you've got to have the story. You've got to have the artistic shots. And you've got to have the dynamic stuff as well. It has to blend in, so you can't have like one shot jumping out at you, because then the viewer's experience will be like, "Whoa, what was that?" You want them to be immersed in the film, and you have to have the sort of circle of life pulling it in to pull you in, and then it all works. Without it, it kind of breaks down.
That's interesting. Do you go into a wedding like knowing that kind of story in advance? Because for example, what I do is I don't storyboard a wedding film, but I certainly do things like shot decks, and I kind of prepare some shots in advance that I know I want to take. Do you go into a wedding knowing the kind of story you want to tell, or is that really just you're still capturing the day, and then come edit time, that's when it comes to life?
That's a hard one, because that's where weddings and elopements differ in recent times. So with weddings, what I like about weddings is you can go along and you've got all the events laid out for you, and it's up to you as a videographer of how you execute that situation. And you've got like seconds to decide. Like, even if you're going into the ceremony room, you're like, I just want a shot of this. Are you like still, or are you going to gimbal it, or are you going to get the details, or like what lens? You've got to do that. And then with an elopement, you can be. I used to, with elopements, just rock up and you speak to the bride and groom beforehand and just get like say hello and feel each other out, and then you'd rock up on the day and just shoot away because you're working within a small team. But in recent times, you're more getting to know the couple and understand like, well, why are you traveling across the world to come to the Scottish Highlands? Finding out what locations appeal to them. So I'll screenshot stuff and I'll ask them, what film have you watched of mine that made you choose this, or why are you doing it? And they'll say, I liked this moment out of that film. Like, they'll always mention the snowy one where the bride is doing like a Titanic moment on the sort of cliffy bit.
Yeah, I've seen that film. It's cool. Yeah.
So they'll mention that like 9 out of 10 times, and then I'll break down to them how that bride and groom made that film happen. So they did multiple things on the day. They made it very personal. They did like their own vows, and all of a sudden, but not every bride and groom will want to do that. So, which is good because it tightens it up, and then you can be like, okay, if you want those kind of portrait-y, shotty stuff, I know which area to go to achieve that. And if you just want like big wides of the landscape, I know where to go to do that, and suddenly you're building this film. So with elopements, you do kind of go with an idea of what you're trying to achieve, and you're trying to get close as that as you can, but you're battling against sunlight, the elements, tourists, everything. Where on a wedding day, you've got the chance of just going to that venue. You spoke to the couple, you get on really well, but you're rolling with the punches, and you're just trying to do it the best you can.
Do you ever feel like I have a lot, and that's when you're looking forward to a shoot because you think there's something special about the couple, something special about their story, the venue's amazing, and you just think this is all lining up to be the best film of the season, definitely. and it's beaten by the one that you were shitting yourself about because they were like, they were standoffish and it's a rubbish venue. It's weird, isn't it? It's weird. Like sometimes it's the struggle that makes the film good. You know,
yeah, 100%. Like that
happens.
The hardest days makes the best films.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's really hard to know that at the time, because I don't think I should say this, but last year I had a complete disaster of what was going to be a disaster of a ceremony. But I'll run through you really quickly why it turned into one of the best. Because I was up doing bride prep, and she really wanted a first look with bridesmaids and dad. And I was looking at my time going, I need to go to your ceremony. It's an outside ceremony. And I was like, I really need to go, but I know you want this. So I said to the venue coordinator, can you give me 10 minutes when me and the photographer leave this room to run down to the ceremony just to set up quickly? Because we're so late anyway. And she said, yeah, it's fine. She didn't give us that time. So as soon as I left, the music was starting, and I wasn't even in the ceremony yet. And I was like, oh no, there was no camera set up, there was nothing, because it was like down the road from the venue. It wasn't just like you could set up pre and leave the camera set up.
Nightmare stuff.
Yeah, it was. So I got in, and then I was like trying to throw things up, and the photographer, one of the second shooters came up to me who I knew, and she was like, do you want a hand? I was like, but the time I take to explain this, like, you know, and people, they were waiting to come down the aisle. And I think they played like the entrance song like 3 times. And luckily, one of the staff did like hold them off to get in. So when I had plans, this is like one of those ideas where you think, this is going to be great. I'm going to get the drone up. I'm going to be filming from here. I'm going to have that on the groom. I'm going to do this, do that. Everyone's going to be mic'd up. I ran out, mic'd people up, and none of all that stuff happened. So when the bride walked in, I literally had one camera rolling on a monopod, and I was absolutely bricking it, because it was such an amazing, it was one of those amazing weddings where flowers are everywhere. They really went for it, and just how it rolled at that moment was disastrous. Because even before I spoke with the bride, it was never, oh, you need a second shooter for this. It was just what happened. So then why it turned into one of the nicest ceremonies I'd shot was because once everyone got into place, I could then go, your vision changes, and you go, right, that's an 80mm over there, that's a 50mm, I'm having a 35 at the back, and I'm going to do this, do that. So all of a sudden, straight away, everything was set up beautifully, where if you set it up normally, you might have had a different idea, and I hope they stand there, and I hope this happens.
That's interesting.
So
like
then
you having to adapt has turned out to be a better option for you than going with preconceived ideas like, this is how I'm going to set my shots, and just kind of roll with that. Because you had to kind of think on your feet and just find a way to adapt to that. So yeah, that's interesting.
But that was tough.
It is.
But it just shows, doesn't it, like how tough it is to be a solo filmmaker. Like I know that I don't do it anymore, but when in my first probably year, 18 months, I always tried to do too much, particularly during ceremony. I was trying to do drone shots of the bride walking down the aisle, and then like a usual 3-camera setup on tripods. And in the end, there's this one wedding. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But wait. In the end, Jeff, there's this one particular wedding you were talking about. You know, it's like in my head, I was like, this is going to be my best work.
Yeah.
I didn't get a bride walking down the aisle because I was faffing with the drone, which wouldn't, and then the cameras weren't rolling.
Yeah. Easily done.
Don't be saying that out.
Easy.
But still turned out to be a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Apologies, Josh. You've probably heard this story before over a beer, but when me and Jane went to film an Indian wedding in Sicily, our bags didn't make it. Obviously, we had cameras in the hand luggage and a drone in the hand luggage, so we were good, but we didn't have any tripods or gimbals or anything like that. And I found it really interesting because, particularly during the first night of speeches, I really enjoyed them, because even though there was like a bit of dancing and then a speech, and then a bit of food and then a speech, and then a bit of dancing and then a speech, there was never that feeling of like, are we ready for the speech? Because all we had was cameras in our hands. And I had, a Zoom running from the desk mic. No backups, just a Zoom on the desk. So that was just rolling the whole night. So I found it really liberating, actually. Just to have two, I mean, it would have been shit on my own, But because there are two of us, you know, you got the two angles handheld. And another thing I found interesting about it, as well as it being like less stressful because we were ever ready, was the shots are just immediately making micro adjustments all the time to get the best out of the shot. So that, like, I was like on profile for the mum doing a speech it was like there was a backlight with some anamorphic flare, and I was like making sure I could like make the most of that. And you know, some shots that you can't get on a tripod, like over the shoulder, like holding my camera there over the shoulder, getting reactions and stuff like that. So yeah, I found it. And there were two photographers and a content creator, and the editing process would have been just pretty much getting rid of those out of all the shots, really. But because we were handheld, we could just go next to them and move when they move. And yeah, anyway, sorry, I'm going off on one. It's not about me.
No, but it is interesting, isn't it? Like, being a solo filmmaker, you're having to constantly adapt, but sometimes they're decisions that are kind of out of your hand, or you're having to make in the moment turn out to be just good. Visually, aesthetically, it just works. Is there anything, Drew, that you think with regards to the whole wedding versus elopement, like, what would you say to new filmmakers? Do you think that there's, you know, if a new filmmaker was to enter the scene, what would you tell them about the difference between filming a wedding and filming an elopement? Is there one that you have like favoritism with at all, or not?
Ooh, good question.
If you could choose now, if you had a lead for the same day, one is a wedding, one is an elopement.
Without meeting the couple.
Yeah.
Elopement.
And if the same price, if they get the same fee for each.
Same price. That's true. Yeah.
It'd be an elopement.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But only just, I mean, sometimes if you have like a big wedding, I still love weddings. So if you have a big wedding in like a Scottish castle and it's all pretty wild and still quite personal, then that's also great. Because I do like it when brides really do choose like the dress and then the stationery and the flowers and everything ties in. I think those can make really great films because she really has thought about everything. I say just the bride, but if you know, it's generally the bride that does it.
Is there more variation in an elopement? Is there more? Is there a bigger variety in stories with an elopement, so you can flex your creative muscle a bit more?
It depends how much you push it, because the couples love the idea of, like, they see. I had quite a lot of bookings off like that Snowy one where they've said, "I've seen that on YouTube. I want that," but then they don't execute the same amount of passion into it. So, so the difference is, like, what I think I said before, like weddings, you have all those events, where elopements, all you've got is a tiny bit of prep, the ceremony, and then a huge amount of couple shoot, and that can all look really flat unless you can lift it and put it together. And I think that's the trouble when you're first starting out. It sounds easier doing an elopement because it sounds like a shorter day. You can just rock up into a beautiful landscape like Glencoe or Skye, and you think, I can shoot in any direction, everything's going to look great. But it's not the case. I've been there, I've done that. It doesn't work. You need to have I said, like, that blend to do it. So when you speak to couples, some of them are like really into it, and they want to have, like, I spoke to one the other night, and they're, we want to do a picnic on the side of, like, the river, and already you're getting ideas in your head of, like, how you would shoot that. Well, that's never going to happen on a wedding day. You know, they're going to be doing other things. So all of a sudden you're building the story and building this relationship with a couple, and finding out where you can lean on them a bit more for your creativity. And I think, like, that's the hard thing when you start out and you're wanting. I don't think I could make a full living off elopements, but I do quite a lot of them a year, and I'm getting more and more of them as well. So from a video point of view anyway. So I think when you're first starting out, weddings are the strong point. That's where people are generally investing a lot more in total. The elopement side of things, I used to get loads of inquiries of, can you come up to Skye? We're having an elopement. Can you film just the ceremony? And we've got like 400 quid. And I'm like, unfortunately, this doesn't make sense. And even when I was suggest,
did you say in those words, Drew? Is that exactly what you said? I'd like to know the exact reply.
I was just like, it's just not going to happen. But it was just, it took a long time to build up Elopements to where they are now in terms of the videos, budget, and the type of couples I get. Because most couples I get will come overseas for an elopement, which is even more impressive for them to travel that distance and invest in generally myself, photographer, a humanist. And you're like, well, this is pretty cool. So they are more willing to like go for it and see what they can achieve, because they want to go back and show people. So like it's like when you drive through like Glencoe, which I think that you've done, like you see the hills, you hear the wind, you might see a stag at the King's House, you see the water, you wanna live that. And you want to stop there and like kind of treasure that, and then you want to be able to go home and show it. Because we had the film that won. That couple lived in China. It's one of the Chinese bride, and the groom's Scottish, but they live in China, and they were having a huge wedding out there after the elopement, so they wanted to show it. So you had a challenge. So I had a challenge on my hands of capturing all this, and I tell you what, that is actually one of the hardest elopements I filmed. Because unfortunately the bride got so cold, and they're used to mountaineering, they did loads of it, and especially in the Highlands, she got so cold after the first location she called it quits. So in my point of view, when I filmed that day and edited it, I was like, I don't have like enough, I don't have enough content, I don't have enough b-roll, I don't have enough to build this like my other films, and yet it worked, it was okay.
I like how you make it sound like, in the end it was fine. It's like, no, it's a beautiful film, and it won Best Elopement Film. So what was their feedback, by the way? Because did they play it at their wedding back in China? Like, what did they tell you?
They're outstanding. It was fantastic. Everyone loved it, and it was a surprise for all their guests. So they were just like, wow.
Nice.
And that's why it's so important. That's when I related it loosely to that sort of Braveheart vibes or Outlander vibes these days. Of how do people relate to that type of imagery? Because you could go to the Highlands and color grade it really poppy and clean, but that's not what you feel when you're there. You feel the gritty, the gritty stuff on your feet, and the rivers and the wildness of it. So you want to get that rawness across of being in that place.
A friend of ours, Stefan, I went along with him to the Lake District, and just to tag along on one of his shoots, his elopement shoot. And he was dead disappointed on the way, and I was like, "What's up?" He said, "Oh, it's the weather, man." I'm like, "But it's forecast absolutely gorgeous." He's like, "Yeah, that's the problem. I wanted like moody clouds, and I was like, oh, right, I get it."
Yeah,
I was gonna. We touched on styles, and how styles kind of develop over the years. And something popped into my head while you were talking about elopements and the fact that, I can't help thinking, if you've got a couple there for the whole day, based on what I've seen at the Wedding Film Festival, I'd now be tempted going forwards to try and direct a bit. And now that's so weird for me to say, because I've never directed like before. I've done the odd kind of pre-wedding shoot or save the date video, and it I wasn't very good at it, basically. But I'd be tempted, like with an elopement, not a wedding because it's too busy. But is there time on an elopement to maybe try stuff like that? Do you think? And I was going to ask you that, and I will ask you that, but then you mentioned the Chinese bride got freezing and just gave up on it. So you can't plan for that, can you? Well, is that something you'd be tempted to do in the future?
Direct more in terms of laying out the day.
Having a creative idea for a story and getting them to act it out, like act out a story
really
in
challenging.
some kind of really weird way.
I mean, effectively, you're doing a workshop, I suppose, and you're better off having models for that. In terms of if you're wanting it to look more like almost advert, like a car advert, because the problem with doing that on elopement is you'll spoil their day. So
good point.
So how I film is, I say to couples, like, I'll film as arty or as cinematically as I can, but I'm not gonna spoil moments for you. So when they do a first look, that my idea with a first look, I always work with usually that you're working right next to the photographer the whole day on elopement. So usually I say to them, like, how best should we do this? Because I generally want them to have a first look, and if we think, actually we can make that a little bit nicer for like the imagery, then you can always restage it. As long as the bride and groom know this before their day, then it works out pretty well. We don't tend to do things twice, but it's a good example of, like, if they're having a first look, let them have a first look, because they're doing it to see each other, not for our benefit. And I think that can get lost quite a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's my attitude, to be honest. Now I'm toying with this idea. I've got this like massive amount of inspiration, and I'll probably give it a go once and then go, nope, it's not for me. Let's just stick to what I do. It just sounds so hard, doesn't it? And like, if you've got a couple that have travelled halfway around the world to do this thing, and then you spoil their day unwittingly, that's not a good place to be.
It's kind of like you're showing them the locations that you talked about, and that's why it's good to research locations, and then they'll agree to it. And then generally, like the Glen Etive road, that long road to Glen Etive, I'll say to the couple, cool, we're going to do a road shot, to which they just hold hands and run that way, and I'll run after them with the gimbal or freehand or something. And that's almost as complicated as it gets. It gets a little bit more intimate than that, but generally that's it, because I find that works. You're wanting to still see how they run together. Is it super awkward, or is it quite whimsical and awesome, or where's the power shots, and where do you see them in the shot? Because that's the important thing. Because when you get them really close, and you say, almost get your noses touching, and you're there with maybe a 50 or an 80 mil, and you're just trying to get them close. You want to see how they respond, because if you're trying to do that sort of setup shots, they need to know the end game, otherwise they're really awkward. Where if you're just a little bit looser and a little bit more off the cuff, like, you almost don't give away your game plan. But generally they're pretty good with it.
But that's interesting, because I know a lot of filmmakers don't know where they should place the cursor when it comes to directing a couple. But when it comes to an elopement, it's just you and a photographer. And I guess if you don't step in for the shots that you feel are important, then it's just the photographer running the show, and you just kind of end up shooting whatever they're doing. So you are having to be proactive in terms of like getting what you need, right?
Yeah,
a
you
lot
do.
more, I guess, than a wedding.
Yeah, I mean, on elopements and weddings, what I generally do is when we go on the couple shoot, I will kind of hang back a little bit, and I'll always try and shoot at the same time as the photographer, but it's not always possible, especially if they're like leaning towards the lens with their shoulders. And that's all good. I mean, everyone's got a job to do, and I always try and work really well with every supplier, whether it's a wedding planner, a photographer, whoever. But generally, if you're going in a couple shoot, I'll hang back and just see how the couple respond. And I think a really good way to start that is just do wides, just let them be themselves, because they're super awkward. Regardless how they've said they're going to be before the day, you're like, don't get too involved, like, hang back. And then I'll see how they respond to the photographer, and then I'll come in. So I'll try and shoot at the same time, and otherwise I do get my own stuff, because you're going back to the story. So wherever you've heard in the ceremony, or maybe their own vows or whatever, that's kind of in your head of like, I need some of these shots. And I've started doing a bit of mentoring, and what I found was it can become a little bit obvious when you're watching films when it's a photograph happening, and when you're trying to make a romantic sort of TV drama vibe film, is you don't want to be removed from that like headspace. So if they're like all of a sudden running through the heather, and then they're kind of standing holding each other, looking up at the mountains. It's a fantastic photo, but it doesn't blend with the film. So it's like, I have to always like keep an eye of like, if I film from the side, I have to watch myself. And so I always say to the couple how I work is the photographer might get a shot and then I might get a shot, and then we just kind of chopping and changing. And there's really good photographers that I work with. I mean, majority of the time now, you're always working really well with photographers and planners, so everyone's on the same page, everyone's happy, and it's good times.
What if I go back to the awards, Drew, what did you did winning validate anything? Did it change anything? Does it allow you to do something, push your pricing up? What does winning that best elopement film at the awards at the festival kind of give you, or has it not changed anything?
I think for like myself, it's definitely validation, because it's just, it's always hard knowing what you're meant to be doing these days with video. There's so many options. We're in such a fast-paced industry that's changing like every 6 months. I mean, you go to like a Coda and you hear and see all these amazing people, and all of a sudden afterwards, quite a few people change their styles to fit in with what they've seen. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's interesting that that's the world we live in. It's just so fast paced, and I've always tried to stay consistent. And I did go to art school, so I always like think I'll try and be a bit more of an artist like point of view on it and stick to what you want to do. And having basically not just one person but a panel of judges say, you're doing the right thing, keep going. It not only makes you feel like sort of joyful that this is amazing, it's just like, I'm doing the right thing, let's look forward to next year and bring it and see what else we can do.
Yeah.
So it was great. And it's actually what I really liked about the awards. I kind of knew the judges had the power of like nominating, putting you into different categories. So when it came up with like best audio, best color, it did make me think of like, oh, hang on, that's got my interest actually. And so I think for next year, I'm definitely going to enter and maybe try to see what else can happen. Because as you said, I never heard of Wild Strawberry before, and their stuff was obviously incredible. So taking a bit of inspiration of like how many categories those guys were in, it kind of showed me like, oh, I could do a lot more here, hopefully.
Yeah, take the scattergun.
What are your thoughts on that, by the way? The idea that the festival was essentially open to international filmmakers.
Yeah.
What did you take from that? Are you happy for that to be the case going forward? Do you think it should be a UK only thing?
Nah, you've got to have a challenge, like a really high sort of let's go for it. I actually really liked it how many awards did they get? Was it 4 or 5? Did they get Wild Strawberry?
The Wild Strawberry won 4, yeah.
4.
They won 4.
Plus 2 won 4 as well.
You had a lot of destination films, and that's partly why I thought I'm not going to win, because Zaid was in New York and London was somewhere abroad that looked amazing. So I just thought, I don't know, but I think that's the challenge of a UK wedding videographer. Because at the moment, I'm not that bothered about doing destination stuff. I always quote for them every year. I always get asked to do them, but if they don't happen, they don't happen. It's not somewhere I'm pursuing at the moment with having young kids.
Interestingly, I watched the Wild Strawberry film the other day that was shot in a terrible. Well, I'm sure the clients won't be watching this. A terrible venue, then in a park, and then in a garage, just like literally in their garage that was full of junk, and like trust them, they pulled it out of the bag and they just made an incredible film. I was just like, right, yeah, okay, it's not the location, is it then?
I think it opens up opportunity, like as you say, like you see different ideas, different creative applications happening, and to see, I think it's great to have it global, because in a lot of other UK awards, you're restricted to UK only. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I just think it adds.
I'm excited about what else is like out there in the UK. In terms of I'd never met Scott McKenzie, and he stumbles along and like just goes and wins kind of like the youngest category in the whole thing. He gets best social edit. It's probably like close to my age, and I found that inspirational. The fact that he was so damn good, and I know of British filmmakers that never enter awards, and I'm thinking I want to make something that's going to attract those people to enter. If it's if there's an excitement and a like a level to it that they've not seen before, then I think they'll be more likely to to come our way and put it in. And I think in terms of the unique challenge that we have, I think that sometimes makes a better film, like you touched on before. When something goes wrong, you end up making a better film. While Strawberry, they were stuck in someone's garage. They just worked with what they had, and they just did something that wouldn't have happened in a normal venue. So I think we've got it can be a challenge, but it can also be a superpower.
Yeah.
How cheesy is that?
It's true though, isn't it, Jeff? I agree. What category have you got your eyes on next year, Drew?
There's a few ideas in the pipeline, so I think I want to. So I can't reveal all yet because I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. But basically, but I think I'll do Elopement again. I think the being nominated for UK film was really exciting. I think I can do a lot more with my wedding films to bring them up. I think my Elopement films in my eyes are a little bit higher up than my weddings, but that's harder because you are relying on like almost what the bride and groom are giving you. I love the weddings that I go to though. There's nothing untoward there. I think they're great, but I think that you are then slightly restricted, where Elopement you can explore more. And as I said, it's such a fast changing industry. Who knows? But I think audio is quite a good one to look into. Definitely do the Elopement one again, and maybe UK film, but we'll wait and see. It's
going to be weird next year because it's up until it's like the first one was like the first album. You can go to your entire back catalogue. Any film that you've ever filmed in your life, you could enter to the first one. But this next one, we've not decided on the exact kind of like dates yet, but there will be restrictions to how old the film can be. So it's going to be difficult. It's going to be, I think in some cases it might be easier to win, because of those restrictions, and in some cases, it's going to be more challenging.
Well, this is the thing, because like I suppose a lot of videographers have different length of films. So some will do like 8 minutes, some will do 5. So, and an 8-minute one's like a full day, where a 5's just the highlights. And then, so what? How did you guys find it? Was it a loads of that, or was everyone just submitting a 5-minute film?
Oh, I think you misunderstood what I was on about. I was talking about sorry. I was talking about the fact that there were no restrictions on when the film was made.
Ah, okay.
For the first one. But for the next one, it's going to have to be made in 2026. I think we've not decided yet, but we're talking about maybe 2025 or 2026. We don't know yet. But that's what we're talking about. But interestingly, you took us onto that subject. We've not decided on the length of film either. Personally, I mean, I'm only part of the group. My personal view is there shouldn't be any restrictions at all, because I've heard of some brilliant filmmakers saying they didn't enter that's their best film, but they didn't enter it because it's 8 minutes. And I think that's a real shame. And I think that we're lucky in that part of the filmmaking skill is keeping someone's interest. You can watch, you could watch a 20-minute, 30-minute, 40-minute film, and if it's good enough, it'll feel like 5 minutes. So that's my personal opinion, but we'll discuss it in the background, won't we, Joss?
Yeah, we will. We'll chat to Pete about that. Pete's got some very strong opinions on the length of the film. He's like, don't make it. But I like. But I mean, to be fair, that some of the entries, Drew, like one in particular that I can think about, submitted into best documentary style category, was like 30 minutes long.
Wow.
And it was like, I mean, the quality of it was amazing. Didn't win, and I don't think was shortlisted for other reasons, not just because he was long. But actually, that filmmaker did manage to kind of keep you hooked past the, we said 7 or 8 minutes we would watch. So actually, it was very good. And I think that was a Canadian filmmaker.
Okay.
So I agree with Jeff, I guess is where I'm getting at. I think perhaps we can expand the time, time limit of the film, because actually there are amazing filmmakers that have entered longer films. It's just about finding that balance, isn't it? Because if everyone submits 30 minutes films, that's our life gone, Jeff. For a whole,
yeah,
for about 3 months worth of watching films. Yeah.
No,
I remember, Drew, because I was, I believe I'm the one that who was on stage presenting your award, Drew? Was it me?
It was you. It was you,
wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was cool. One of the things we loved, and I'd love your feedback on this. One of the things, selfishly, that we loved as founders was seeing people's faces when they were shortlisted and when they were announced as winners. What are your views on like actually having a shortlist beforehand? So you basically coming into the festival, the event night, you know already whether you've got a chance of winning or not.
That's a tricky one. I quite like not knowing. Because you were just watching the screens and anticipation and be like, oh, my name's going to get mentioned. And then when it does, it hits you more. Because Laura said to me, she was watching me from across the room because she knew I was going to win. And she was trying not to give the game away because she wasn't making eye contact with me. She said she was just like, just watching from the corner to see your reaction. And then she said, oh, you were totally stunned, like you had no idea. I was like, I generally didn't have an idea. I didn't think I was going to win at all. So I think that's quite nice. Yeah, I like it not knowing if you're nominated, but I could see ticket sale wise, you might want to. I don't know. You might want to know, but I don't know. That's a hard call.
No, I agree with you. I think it's. I think
you've given something away here, Drew. So next year, everyone just looks at Laura and see where she's got her eyes on.
Yeah, we need to work on the winner. It's like, where do you look though? Because then they'll know that whoever you're not looking at has won.
Yeah.
Drew, expanding like the conversation, so because we talked about our festival, which obviously, beyond the awards, this podcast is very much a British wedding film podcast. Why, generally speaking, your thoughts on awards? And naturally, there's an element of competition within it. The way we wanted to kind of set this up, and hopefully we've achieved that, is elevating the craft, inspiring people. Like, where would you place the cursor, generally speaking, on awards in the industry?
I'm always competitive myself, so I like awards. Like I used to do mountain bike racing, so I like competition because I feel it drives me to do better and to see if I can play, if I'm in the mix or not, of if my stuff's any good. Or like that, it's a way of valuing it, I suppose. In my point of view, so I like it. And I think it's only positive to have awards in the industry because one, it's another place you can go to meet other videographers. Because me and Trace used to say, like sort of pre-COVID times, like we felt really alone in the industry because we didn't actually really know anyone else. You were just sort of doing it as a job, and you'd only meet vendors when you went and did a wedding. So I really like these awards and workshops that are happening. So yeah, I think bring it on, and I think look to the future. It can only be positive that comes out of it, and keep going.
Yeah, I like that.
Good answer. Yeah.
Right, I guess it's crunch time, Joss.
Yes,
we need to guess. We need to guess.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So remind us.
Can you remind us remind us those three? So we asked you for 2 truth, 1 lie. Can you remind us of those 3 facts first?
Oh yeah. So I worked in a bank. I worked with Calvin Harris, and my favorite coffee is a mocha. So 1 is a lie.
The mocha's a lie for me.
Funny you say that, Jeff. I was going to say the same. He's really into his coffee, but I don't know if mocha is the favorite coffee. So
it's like a non-coffee,
I'm with Jeff.
It's a non-coffee, isn't it?
I'm
mocha?
with Jeff.
It's not a coffee drinker's coffee.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go on.
Okay.
No coffee drinker would ever say that.
Oh, okay. So the lie is working in a bank.
Oh, so your favourite coffee's mocha? Sorry, I take it all back. It's a great coffee.
I like how
I like chocolate.
I like how the fact that we should be bothered about is Calvin Harris, but we're like, mocha is your favourite coffee?
Yeah, mocha's pretty
Calvin
good. I
Harris.
like getting a mocha.
I didn't even know
back
it
in
was
the days.
Scottish. I only found out it was Scottish recently.
Yeah.
Is he Scottish?
Yeah.
It was back
Well,
in
what's the
Dumfries
backstory,
when,
Hedgerow?
what was Calvin? It was just I was at art college in Dumfries at the time, and my part-time job was in Marks and Spencer's, and there was this guy. We used to like just chat to each other, and loads of people knew him. And then I remember the last day we worked with each other, and I said, "Oh, what are you off to do?" And he said, "Oh, I'm going to do a music thing." I was like, "All right, rock on. Hopefully that goes well for you." And the next thing you know,
good luck with that.
yeah, that was
Classic.
what a legend.
Classic.
But yeah,
That's amazing.
Brilliant.
Are you still in touch?
no.
Well, it's his loss.
Don't have his
because,
number.
Well, thanks very much, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Well, it's lovely speaking to you guys, and I'm looking forward to the next festival.
Thank you.
See
have
ya.
a good one, mate.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.